Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true.
Cops probe murder, shooting and attempted rape in Kingston 3. A series of bizarre events Wednesday afternoon ended in the gunslaying of a man in the Kingston 3 area. Tied to the man's killing is the attempted rape of a 17-year-old student of a popular high school in Kingston and the shooting and injuring of her 28-year-old brother. Lawmen have identified the dead man as 30-year-old Romain Jack, otherwise called Bovo, a construction worker from the community. The injured man is said to be a security guard. It is reported that around 12:40 p.m., Jack was doing construction on his roof when the student ran from her house half naked and made an alarm that someone was trying to rape her. On hearing this, Jack, along with other members of the community, rushed to the yard and entered the house. Loud explosions were then heard on the premises, and the now deceased was afterwards seen suffering from gunshot wounds to the head and left leg. He was taken by residents to the Kingston Public Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The brother was later seen suffering from a gunshot wound to his right shoulder. He was subsequently taken by the police to hospital, where he was admitted in stable condition. While processing the scene, lawmen found a Taurus pistol inside the house. Up to publication time, police were still collecting statements as they tried to grasp the series of events. Brothers charged for stabbing of Cumberland schoolboy. Two brothers have been charged in connection with the stabbing of a male student from Cumberland High School in Portmore, St. Catherine. The 14-year-old and 19-year-old siblings are charged with wounding with intent, assault occasioning grievous bodily harm, and conspiracy. They have surrendered to the police a day after June 15 attack. The police are seeking two other suspects in the case. The 11th grade student was attacked by a group of men who chopped and stabbed him several times. This student, who was hospitalized following the attack, reportedly intervened into a dispute between two students and was later set upon by men from a neighboring community who were called to the scene by one of the students who was involved in the dispute. Man killed during grave digging at St. Mary Cemetery. A grave digging in St. Mary turned into a killing on Wednesday following an altercation between two men at the Thomasworth Cemetery at Paradise Avenue in the parish. As a result, one man is dead and another is on the run. The dead man has been identified as Damon Watkins, otherwise called Perry, from Harmony Hall, St. Mary. The suspect is also from Harmony Hall. It was reported that around 4:30 p.m., the two men were among other persons at a grave digging at the cemetery when a dispute developed between them. The police said during the dispute, a ratchet knife was used to inflict several stab wounds on Watkins. He collapsed and was rushed to the Anatomy Hospital, where he was pronounced dead upon arrival. It is understood that the suspect fled and is being sought by the police. It was not ascertained who the grave was being dug for. Linda Smith Isaacs, former partner of the coal roller, has died. Former artist manager Linda Smith Isaacs, in whom house the veteran singer Gregory Isaacs spent his last days while battling cancer, has died. She passed away on June 21 at about 2:30 in the hospital. Tony Owens, a close friend of Linda Isaacs, confirmed with reporters. Following the passing of the reggae star in 2010, rumors surfaced surrounding the night nurse hitmaker relationship with his UK manager Linda, who has been referred to in the UK media as Isaacs' wife. Linda, in interviews, said that she and Isaacs were very much in love, even though their union wasn't recognized by law. Gregory and myself were together for a few years, but we were not legally married. Last April, he wanted me to change my name by default to Isaacs, so I did. And yes, he said I was his wife and I said he was my husband. If we did wrong, then let the Almighty judge us, she said in a quote, as seen at the time. Gregory Isaacs was legally married to June Isaacs at the time of his death. Forensic psychiatric evaluation ordered for Manchester woman charged with husband's murder. The Manchester woman accused of the brutal murder of her police husband during a domestic dispute at their home in May was remanded until July 19 for a forensic psychiatric evaluation. Casey Blair is facing charges of murder, unauthorized possession of firearm, and unauthorized possession of ammunition in connection with the death of Constable Damian Blair. When she appeared in the Home Circuit Court via voluntary bail, her lawyer Tamika Harris requested the evaluation. Justice Leighton Pusey also ordered that Harris be provided with reports of any psychiatric treatment her client may have received at the Mandeville Regional Hospital in Manchester. The police report that about 6:40 p.m. on the day in question, The policeman and his wife were having an argument which escalated. It is also being alleged that his wife used his service weapon to shoot him. It is also being alleged that the husband was hit with a blunt force during the incident. Neighbors reported they heard explosions and alerted the police. On arrival of the police, Blair was seen suffering from injuries and his wife was seen lying in blood with what appeared to be stab wounds. They were taken to hospital where Blair was pronounced dead and his wife was admitted in serious condition. The woman allegedly attempted to commit suicide following the murder. Agriculture Ministry allocates $63 million for flood-impacted farmers. The Agriculture Ministry has allocated $63 million for recovery support to farmers impacted by recent heavy rains and flooding. The fund will go to farmers in Manchester, St. Elizabeth and St. Anne. Portfolio Minister Floyd Green said some of the money will go towards repairing irrigation systems. Mr. Green noted that damaged farm roads will also get some attention. The minister said local producer Hypro has also committed to assisting the affected farmers.
I had committed to the farmers upon seeing the destruction that we will be providing some support to help them rebuild. And as such, I'm pleased to announce that the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining will be providing $63 million to help get our farmers back on their feet in the parts of South Manchester, South St. Elizabeth, and also parts of St. Anne. We will put $15 million towards restoring damaged crops and trying to get our farmers planting again. We will put $5 million towards those farmers who need support in relation to their livestock. We did see a lot of dislocation in relation to irrigation equipment, and as such we're putting $10 million to help purchase some of the equipment that was lost. If you're from South St. Elizabeth, South Manchester, you understand the importance of grass in the growing process called mulch. And as such, we saw a lot of loss in relation to grass. And as such, we will be providing $3 million towards the purchasing of that mulch material to put back on our farms. And we also saw a lot of damage to our farm roads. And as such, we have allocated $30 million to provide some immediate support to get the farmers and the farm roads back up and running. Thankfully, the little time that I spend here, because we try to work around the clock, the little time that I spend upstairs with Vice President Ogilvy, he has committed to me that Hypro will also be doing something to help the farmers get back up and running in the shortest possible time.
Labour Ministry equipped to deal with operational issues that may arise. Minister of Labour and Social Security Pernell Charles Jr. says the ministry has robust internal mechanism to detect and correct any weaknesses that may exist in its operations. Charles advises that these mechanisms are currently being engaged to make sure that if there is an incident, we could identify it, and if there are weaknesses, we can identify these and then we address them. He was speaking during Wednesday's post-cabinet press briefing at Jamaica House. Charles disclosed that a scheduled routine internal audit of all the ministry's programs is being undertaken to identify any weaknesses and, most importantly, to make sure that we can address and train our programs, as our effort is always to improve. However, in response to a question, he indicated that the ministry is not engaged in a fraud probe. Any potential or possible matter of fraud or any activity which is untoward is something that we take seriously and that we would be examining. That is why we actually have an annual internal audit, and we have had a scheduled routine audit taking place which is in completion now because the ministry, like other ministries, has a process of inherent accountability which we at the Ministry of Labour and Social Security take very, very seriously, Charles underscored. He pointed out that the ministry is open to utilize external support to assist in any investigation. If it is that there is a belief that there is an incident or incidents of fraud, we are the ones that want to identify it. So we expose ourselves for external support to identify that, Charles added.
Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell